Ladies and gentlemen, there is a battle fought daily that few see, and even fewer acknowledge. It is not fought with weapons or in the public square. No medals are given, no headlines are written, but it is as real and as fierce as any war. It is a woman's silent battle with no support. She wakes up every day with the weight of the world on her shoulders, sometimes as a single mother, sometimes as a caregiver, sometimes as the sole breadwinner, and oftentimes as all three. No one hears the cry behind her smile. No one sees the tears that fall behind closed doors. She moves through life not because she's strong, but because she has no other choice. Of course, here's an expanded version of the unseen battle section from the speech. Written in a heartfelt and poetic tone without a subtitle or a concluding statement, there are battles the world never witnesses, fought in kitchens and bedrooms, in cars parked just out of view. Battles wrapped in silence. A woman can walk into a room full of people and still feel alone. She can smile, laugh, and even lead while bleeding inside. No one notices the heaviness in her eyes because she's mastered the art of hiding pain. She shows up for work, for family, for responsibilities, while privately wondering if she has the strength to keep going. Some battles aren't loud. They don't leave visible scars, but they leave a weight on the soul that is hard to carry. There are women who cry in the shower so their children don't hear. Women who stay strong in public and fall apart behind locked doors. Women who are praised for being dependable but are rarely asked if they're okay. These unseen battles don't come with an audience. There's no one to cheer her on, no one to remind her she's doing a good job. She fights through heartbreak, betrayal, financial pressure, loneliness, and disappointment, not with applause, but with grit. She battles through inner voices that tell her she's not enough, through moments where quitting feels easier than continuing, through days where her name is never mentioned, but her effort holds the entire household together. And still she presses on, not because she feels strong, but because she must be, because others depend on her. Because somewhere, somehow, she still believes that light will break through the dark dot. Of course, here is the expanded lack of support section in the same tone and rhythm. There's a pain deeper than struggle. It's the pain of struggling alone, of being the one who's always there for everyone else, yet finding no one when she reaches out. She gives and gives until there's almost nothing left, and still the calls don't come. The check-ins don't happen. The people she's lifted up disappear when she's the one who's sinking. It's not that she expects the world to fix her problem. She's never been one to ask for much. But there's a quiet ache that grows when she realizes that even the smallest gesture of care, the gentlest word of encouragement, is missing. Not because she's unworthy, but because she's been too strong for too long and people have mistaken her strength for invincibility. She shows up to every need but has nowhere to fall when she's the one in need. It's not just the absence of help, it's the presence of silence. The kind of silence that speaks louder than rejection. The kind that says, you're on your own. Even in rooms full of people, she can feel isolated. Even when surrounded by family, she can feel like an outsider. She doesn't want pity, she wants presence. A hand to hold, a heart to understand, a voice that says, I see you. But when no one comes, she keeps moving. She bandages her own wounds. She wipes her own tears. She whispers strength to herself in the quiet. And somehow she keeps walking forward, unsupported, but not undone. Absolutely, here's the expanded hidden strength section, written in the same heartfelt, reflective tone. You wouldn't know it by looking at her. She doesn't wear a cape. There's no spotlight that follows her around, but within her is a strength so deep, so sacred, it doesn't need to be seen to be real. It's the strength to wake up and face another day when everything inside her wants to shut down. The strength to smile for her children when her own heart feels shattered. The strength to carry the weight of others while quietly drowning in her own. She doesn't boast about it. She doesn't post about it. She just lives it. The strength wasn't built in comfort. It was forged in fire through heartbreak, betrayal, abandonment, and disappointment. Through nights where sleep never came and mornings where hope was nowhere to be found. Through moments of complete emptiness where all she had left was faith, and even that felt small. But somehow she still stood. She has learned to be her own anchor in the storm, to be her own comfort in the chaos, to whisper truth to herself when lies scream louder. While others may crumble under pressure, she bends, never breaks. And though no one claps when she keeps going, heaven takes notice, because her strength isn't in loud victories, it's in the quiet choosing to rise again and again. She doesn't always feel brave, but courage isn't a feeling, it's a decision. And she makes that decision every day without applause, without credit, without help. That is where her hidden strength lives, in the shadows of her pain, in the silence of her sacrifice, in the steady rhythm of her faithfulness. Oh, fears. Here's the expanded daily sacrifice section, keeping the tone consistent, quiet, emotional, and deeply honoring. Every day she lays something on the altar of her life, something no one sees and few ever acknowledge. Her time, her dreams, her needs, her rest, all quietly surrendered, not out of weakness, but out of love. She puts others first because that's what's been asked of her. She makes sure everyone is fed, even if she goes without. She shows up to support others, even when no one shows up for her. She listens, encourages, gives, and stretches herself thin to hold everything together. And when her body aches and her heart breaks, she still gets up and does it all again. The world may call it routine, but in truth, it's sacrifice. She sacrifices the career she once dreamed of so she can be there for her children. She sacrifices her peace to carry the burdens of those she loves. She sacrifices sleep for late night worries and early morning duties. She sacrifices her voice to keep the peace in places that haven't earned her silence. And though she rarely complains, it doesn't mean it's easy. She just loves so deeply, so fully, that giving becomes her language. Still, the cost is real. The arenas is real. And the longing for someone to notice, to thank her, to say, you'd always have to be the strong one, that's real too. But even in the quiet loss of herself, there's a grace in her giving. A beauty in the way she continues to pour out from a heart that refuses to harden. Her sacrifice isn't just about survival, it's about love. A love that never demands the spotlight, but makes the world a better place. One silent offering at a time. Certainly, here's the expanded emotional weight section. Keeping with the same tone, soulful, compassionate, there's a heaviness she carries that can't be measured in words. It lives behind her eyes, in the quiet moments when no one's watching. It's not just tiredness, it's a weariness that settles deep in her bones. A weight that builds over time, piece by piece, moment by moment. She carries guilt over things she couldn't control, shame for things that were never her fault, anxiety about the future, regret about the past. She wonders if she's doing enough, if she is enough. And when things go wrong, even when it isn't her fault, she often takes the blame because that's what life has taught her to do. She carries memories that still sting, words spoken in anger that still echo in her mind. The pain of being left, the ache of being misunderstood, the wound of being overlooked. She holds on to disappointment she's never voiced, emotions she's never been given permission to release. She's learned to bury them, not because they've healed, but because there's no space to fall apart. But the weight doesn't go away. It lives in the quiet moments in the drive home, in the stillness of the night, in the few seconds she pauses before opening the door and putting the smile back on. And still she shows up with grace, with dignity, with strength that most will never fully grasp. She carries this emotional load not because she wants to, but because she feels she must. Because the world around her keeps moving and there's no one waiting to catch her if she stops. Yet inside that heaviness is a heart that still hopes, a spirit that still fights, a soul that still believes, even if just barely, that there is more to life than the burden she bears. Absolutely, here's the expanded divine endurance section, written with a reverent and soulful tone, honoring the sacred depth of her strength. There is a kind of endurance that cannot be explained by logic or human strength. It's not just willpower, it's not just grit. It's something deeper, something divine. Because by all natural standards, she should have broken by now. The pain, the pressure, the loneliness, it should have crushed her. And yet somehow she's still standing. Still moving, still believing. That kind of endurance doesn't come from the flesh. It comes from a place the world can't see, a quiet well of grace within her spirit. When her body is weak, something invisible holds her up. When her heart is heavy, something sacred steadies her steps. She may not have all the answers. She may not feel brave, but there is a whisper in her soul that says, keep going. You were made for this. It's not the kind of strength that demands attention. It's the kind that flows quietly like a river through a desert, gentle but unyielding. She walks through fire, but she is not consumed. She carries more than most could bear, but she is not destroyed. And no one may understand how she does it, but heaven knows. This endurance doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from surrender, from learning how to lean when she can't stand, from praying through clenched teeth and trusting through tear-stained eyes. It's the kind of strength that is born in weakness, where something greater steps in and holds her together. She may feel forgotten by people, but she is never forgotten by the one who sees every step she takes. Her endurance is not just a testimony of her strength, it is a reflection of grace at work in a fragile vessel. A divine kind of strength hidden inside a very human heart. Absolutely. Here's the expanded unrecognized victories section. Keeping with the intimate, honoring, and reflective tone, not all victories come with applause. Not every win is seen. Some of the most powerful triumphs happen in silence, unnoticed by the world, but deeply known by the soul. Her victories don't look like trophies or headlines. They look like getting out of bed when her heart feels too heavy to move. They look like holding back tears so her children won't worry. They look like making it through a day without falling apart. She doesn't get celebrated for these moments, but they are victories real, raw, and hard won. No one claps when she chooses patience instead of anger. No one cheers when she forgives someone who never apologized. There's no stage when she stays faithful in the middle of heartbreak. But heaven takes note. And deep within, so does she. She has learned to measure success not by recognition, but by resilience. She has redefined winning not as being seen, but as still standing, as still loving, as still trying, even when everything inside her wants to give up. The world may overlook these kinds of victories, but that doesn't make them small. In fact, they might be the biggest wins of all, the kind that shape character, build legacy, and inspire quiet courage in others walking the same hidden road. And while the world may never know the full extent of what she's overcome, she does. And that's enough, because the most meaningful victories don't need an audience. They just need a heart that refuses to quit. Absolutely. Here's the expanded encouragement to the broken section, written with gentleness, compassion, and quiet strength. To the woman who feels like she's barely holding it together, this is for you. You've been strong for so long that it's hard to remember what it feels like to rest. You've learned to smile through sadness, to carry the weight of others while ignoring your own. And now the cracks are starting to show. Not because you're weak, but because you're human. There is no shame in feeling broken. There is no shame in needing help. You are not less worthy because you're tired. You are not less valuable because you're hurting. Even in the middle of your pain, you are still whole, still seen, still loved. You don't have to prove your worth by pushing through your breaking point. You don't have to stay silent just because no one's asked how you're really doing. Your story matters, even if it's messy. Your emotions matter, even if they're overwhelming. And your heart, no matter how wounded, still has purpose. Let this be your reminder: you're allowed to feel it all. You're allowed to fall apart sometimes. You're allowed to ask for help, even if you've never received it before. The fact that you're still here, still breathing, still hoping even just a little, that's not weakness. That's courage, that's beauty. And even when you feel completely unseen, you are never truly invisible. There is a love that holds you when no arms do. A peace that can meet you right where you are not where you think you should be. You are not alone in your brokenness. There is still light ahead. There is still healing for the parts of you that ache. You are not forgotten. You are deeply, completely, and undeniably loved. Even now. Of course, here's the expanded reassurance of worth section. Written with deep affirmation and tenderness. In the quiet of your heart, you may wonder, am I enough? When the world seems to overlook you, when your efforts go unnoticed, it's easy to begin questioning your value. But let me remind you of something incredibly important: you are enough. Your worth is not determined by the applause of others, nor is it tied to how many things you do for others or how much you can carry on your shoulders. It's not defined by the roles you play or the expectations placed upon you. Your worth is intrinsic. It exists within you simply because you're a child of purpose, made with intention, and no amount of silent struggle or sacrifice can diminish the value that lies within you. You do not need to prove your worthiness by meeting others' standards. You do not need to earn love or acceptance by being anything other than yourself. Your heart, your soul, your presence, they are enough. When you feel small, remember that greatness often hides in the quietest moments. When you feel unseen, know that the most beautiful parts of you are the ones that shine when no one is watching. You have strength that doesn't need to be loud. You have beauty that doesn't need to be validated. Your worth is not measured by the recognition you receive, but by the love you give, by kindness you show, by the courage you carry, even when no one is there to witness it. Even when the world doesn't see the depth of what you're carrying, God sees you. The universe knows the unique light you bring into this world just by being you. And that light, even when it feels dim, is a light that matters. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of rest. You are worthy of peace. And above all, you are worthy of your own compassion. Because the beauty of your worth is not in what you do, but in who you are. Absolutely, here's the expanded call to keep going section, written with encouragement and a powerful sense of purpose to the woman who feels like she's running on empty, who is holding on by the thinnest thread, who wonders if it's worth it to keep going. This is for you. I know it's hard. I know it feels like you've given all that you have, and yet the road never seems to get easier. But I need you to hear this deep in your spirit. You are not done yet. Your story is not finished, and the strength you need for this moment is already inside you. Even in your weariness, even in your doubts, you still have the ability to keep moving forward one step at a time. The journey might not look how you imagine. The battles may not be over, but that does not mean you are failing. That means you are human. And even in your most fragile state, there is power in your perseverance. The days might feel long, the nights might feel even longer, but with every single step you take, no matter how small, you are moving closer to something beautiful. Your faith, your hope, your will to keep going, even when no one sees it, is planting seeds of courage that will bloom in ways you can't yet see. There will be days when you feel like you're giving up. And that's okay, rest when you need to. But don't stop. Don't stop believing in yourself. Don't stop showing up for your life. Even if you can't see the progress today, the choices you make now will build the future you've been waiting for. You are stronger than you think. The strength you've found through hardship, the grace you've discovered through struggle, it's all a testament to your resilience. And even when the path is unclear, even when you feel alone, you are not walking it alone. Every step you take, no matter how small, is a victory. So keep going. Keep moving. Keep believing. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just take one step forward and trust that the next one will come. You have come this far, and I believe with all my heart that you will keep going because you were made for this.